Well, in other news, there's still rain expected over much of Gauteng this week, from, I think, around now, really, through to next week. We saw the flooding there earlier this week and last week. You can imagine how worried people are about the amount of water that's been just causing so much damage. Councillor Funzi Ngobeni is the member of the Mayoral Committee for Transport in the city of Joburg. He joins us now. Councillor, good evening to you, or good afternoon to you, rather, and thank you for your time. You've been touring the city, looking at the damage for yourself. How bad is it?
Good afternoon, Stephen, and good afternoon to the viewers. The damage is quite bad. It's quite bad in areas like Roodepoort, which is Region C of the city of Johannesburg and surrounding areas. If you go around Bramfisherville, Matolesville, you go into Soweto, Stephen, we have been hardest hit there. And areas like Orange Farm as well, where we have also experienced a lot of flooding of people's houses in Eldorado Park, Klipspruit as well. West, there's also a lot of damage that has happened there. So our entity, JRA, is one of the hardest hit in terms of our infrastructure. I know that you know as well that City Power was one of those that was hardest hit as well. So that's we are busy doing a further assessment, Stephen. We have sent down our engineers on the ground to go and assess the bridges that have collapsed and the roads that have washed away and so forth, so that we can be able to have a proper idea of how much was the damage and how much it's going to cost us to repair.
Councillor Ngobeni, I mean, I don't need to tell you this, but fixing a bridge which has been damaged is a major, major job. I mean, it doesn't take a Friday afternoon. It can take months. I mean, are you worried some bridges, some roads, you won't be able to use them for a long time?
Yeah, we are worried, Stephen. I mean, look, I think, let's be honest, our infrastructure is aged, and really we have, as governments, various governments, we have really not done very well in terms of maintenance and reconstruction of our infrastructure. I mean, the last time I checked, Stephen, I mean, just less than 6% of our bridges are in a good and very good condition, I mean, that's a scary number if you look at it, because it means over 90% of our bridges are really in bad condition, and we are driving over them and under them, at our own risk. It's something that really it needs to be addressed, but it won't be addressed overnight, as you have indicated. Some of these bridges that have collapsed, I mean, in Kilburn, which is in Roodepoort, that bridge was constructed in 1962. It's an old bridge, and on various years, really nothing has been done in terms of really working on, reconstructing some of these bridges. So I think we can easily say, it's come home to roast, and we have to now respond to all this, and unfortunately we won't be able to do that overnight, as we have indicated.
Councillor Ngobeni, I appreciate the problems around old infrastructure. I do get that. But there's simple things. If you looked at the beginning of summer during that heat wave, before it rained, that was surely the moment for work crews from the JRA, from Joburg Water, from whoever, to go and unblock storm water drains. We see this every year. Leaves fall down in autumn. They don't get cleared up. When it rains, the storm water drains don't drain properly. And I live in Joburg, that's no secret. I drive all over the place and you see it. When it rains, the stormwater drain is blocked. Now, that doesn't mean the system is blocked, just the top of it. That's surely easy to do. You have a responsibility to do that. Why wasn't it done?
Yeah, look, that's a proactive maintenance program that JRA do have, Stephen, but I think I'll be the first one to admit that the proactive maintenance in JRA has not been to the level that it's supposed to be. There are programs that the regions are putting together, but of course I think there's still a lot of work that needs to be done. But over and above that, Stephen, I think there's many areas in the city of Johannesburg that doesn't have stormwater drainage. There's developments that took place many years ago where stormwater drainage was not included. I mean, places like Drizik in Orange Farm, in Deep Slot, even large parts of Soweto, was built without really having a drainage system. But if you go around the city, you'll see a lot of projects that are on the ground, responding to the master plan, the stormwater master plan that was approved by the city. to really mitigate all these historical challenges that we have. Of course, the backlog is huge. And it will take time for us to get to the level where we want it to go. But in the meantime, we'll have to respond, like you say, ensuring that we clean the stormwater drainage, ensuring that when there's a crisis like this one, that we have teams that are able to go onto the ground and then mitigate so that the lives can be saved.
You say that levels of proactive maintenance by the Joburg Roads Agency weren't up to the levels that you wanted. Was there any proactive maintenance by the Joburg Roads Agency?
Yes, it's been taking place, Stephen, in various regions. You will have seen, but yeah, like I said, of course, it's not to the level that we need to be. I mean, if you look at the resources that they've got, I mean, in Jerry, when I arrived in November, December, the jet vac, which is, for example, a truck that they need to clean the stormwater. I mean, in the city of Johannesburg, we only have 3. That's not even enough, for us to be able to do the job. So we need to invest in this resources so that our general workers and staff in JRA can be able to be effective. So these are some of the challenges, unfortunately, that we have to address. We can't blame. You can't play a blame game and say the previous government didn't do enough and so forth. We need to get into the work and resolve this issue so that we are able to take the JRA forward.
So, I mean, Councillor Ngobeni, you say take the JRA forward. I mean, everywhere you go in Johannesburg at the moment, I'm just picking Joburg because you're in front of me right now and because it's an easy example, but there are potholes absolutely everywhere. Now, I appreciate all of the problems. I get it. But surely, with all the will in the world, it doesn't have to be like this. Do you have a plan to make it better at all? I mean, in a year's time, are we going to have more potholes in Joburg than we have now?
Look, Stephen, I think we need to appreciate that patching a pothole is not a solution. It's the solution to our roads infrastructure is road rehabilitation, is to reconstruct some of our roads. It's a fact that only 30% of our roads are in very good condition. So we need to work on that. We do have a budget now that's been allocated to us to resurface a number of our roads. The work is underway. You would have seen, for example, on Santon Drive, we closed that part of the road to do resurfacing there. We have done resurfacing on the M2 and many other areas around the city. We are resolving to doing resurfacing instead of just patching potholes, because it's not really a sustainable solution that will take us anywhere. So there's going to be a lot of work that needs to be done, Stephen. Unfortunately, it's not going to happen overnight, but we need to make sure that whatever little budget that we have, it's used effectively, and it goes a long way. So that's what we are putting together. There are plans in place for teams that will be working immediately when this rain stops. There will be teams on the ground that will be doing short-term work. But at the beginning of the year, we'll see a lot of resurfacing happening across the city.
Councillor Funzi Ngobeni, thank you, member of the Mayoral Committee for Transport in the city of Joburg.